The meaning of this story is to come inside Bukhari and Muslim. When Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu walked to the door of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and sought permission, and he noticed all these individuals sitting outside of his house. Yes, because they wasn't granted the permission. And Abu Bakr as-Siddiq was granted the permission to enter the masjid. To enter his house. He came and he sat down. And then Umar came and he knocked and he sought permission and he was granted. And he saw the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam sitting silent with his wives. And he said, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I wish to say something to make you laugh. Let me tell you about the treatment of the daughters of Kharija. When she asked me about an increase in provision, and I slapped her. Then the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, yes, he slapped her on the neck. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, they are sitting around asking me for money I don't have. Yes. And then Abu Bakr stood up over Asma, over Aisha, and he slapped her on her neck. Yes. And then Umar stood over Hafsa, and he slapped her. He said, you asking the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam for provisions that he don't have? They said, wallahi, we're not asking for no provisions he don't have. And the ayat was revealed in Surah Ahzab, the meaning of the ayat. Oh Nabi, when your wives ask you for provision, if they want hayat dunya and its glitter, then I'll give you a handsome reward. That is to divorce them. But if they desire Allah and His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the home of the hereafter, then I will reward the good doers. Then the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the meaning of this statement in this story or this event, he went to Aisha and he said, I'd like to say something to you, but don't be hasty and give me the reply. He recited the ayat to her. Yes. And she said, why should I have to consult my parents about this? Because I want Allah and His Messenger in the home of the hereafter. But she said, promise me that you don't tell her otherwise I said this. He said, I won't say anything except that I will tell them. I won't say anything except that if they ask me, I will tell them. And Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala has sent me to make this deen easy. And this is the highlighting point. He has sent me to make this deen easy. Why are we making these things hard for ourselves? How come we can't reflect on Aina nahnu min ha'ulai? Where are we from them? Wallahi akhi, we're far from them. The Salaf used to reflect on their sins when their wives disobeyed them. But when they have the opportunity, like the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they used to correct them. Yes. Correct them in a way that is pleasing to Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala. How come we not home teaching our families? How come we not teaching our daughters and our sons and our daughters? How come we always run in the street after getting off from work? How come we not trying to learn the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the masjid? That is because we are pleased with hayat dunya. Like the brother said to me, I just want to be around righteous people. And I want to be around people that if I say something to them, they can accept my advice and not belittle me as though I don't have any knowledge. But yes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have given me something that I can share with someone. If you accept my advice, without a doubt I accept your advice. Where are we? We try to help the brothers, and other brothers try to help one another, but sometimes they don't want advice. Because the most common questions that will be presented to an individual, what happens if I want to divorce my wife? What happens if my wife's after divorce? That's all we think about. And getting married. But we don't think about those things before we get married. We don't think about that. We don't think about sitting down reading Surah Al-Baqarah together. Knowing that whoever recites Surah Al-Baqarah and Surah Al-Ali Imran, Ali Imran, it will come as an intercession. An intercession for you on Yawm al-Qiyamah. It's either going to be against you or for you. When you read Surah Al-Baqarah, Ali Imran, it teaches you the Tawheed, how the Jews acted with one another, how they killed the prophets, how we should give dawah to the kuffar, how should we act with one another, how we should not turn our backs on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His messenger like the people in the past did. It teaches about the Tawheed and how to strengthen this belief so that we can have that nice character. Because you are running around telling your wives that you love them when you want to be intimate with them. But yet when they disturb you, you want to say you're divorced. That is not the meaning of love. As the people say, love is an action of the heart. If it doesn't reflect in speech and action, then it is a false love. How in the world are you going to say you love somebody? You're not teaching them about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You're not being patient with them like the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was patient with his wives and teaching them. أين نحن من هؤلاء? If you just reflect on that, inshallah tabarak wa ta'ala, me and everyone else will be better. I say that to say this. Don't have that word divorce on your tongue so that as soon as you're being disturbed by your wife or your wives, it's going to slip off your tongue. Be patient and try to save them from the hellfire. You and yourself. And what's the meaning of that verse? That means save you and yourself from you and your family from the hellfire, meaning what? Run away from the disobedience of Allah. Run away from the fire by being obedient to Allah Ta'ala. Run away from the disobedience or from the fire. Run away from the disobedience and run to Allah, or run away from the fire by being obedient to Allah Ta'ala. If you don't know the meaning of obedience, then you have a big problem. Because all you want to do is disobey Allah Ta'ala, but yet when your wife disobey you, you don't want to be patient. You don't want to teach her. But only thing you want to do is scream at her. I told you to do this. That's not the way. Try to admonish them in a way that is pleasing to Allah Ta'ala and teach them the deen the way Allah gave you that responsibility. You should live up to that responsibility so that we can be a better community, and try not to be amongst the people that have that word on their tongue and that it slips so easily. Because many amongst the people may come to me or have came to other people and said, my wife asked for a khula and I want to marry her back. I gave it to her and I want to marry her back. So after asking the brother how many times he gave it to her, she asked for it 5 times. But you know what his answer is? It's not my fault. What you mean it's not your fault? It's your fault. You gave it to her, and then you married her back 5 times. And she's saying that I want this khula because it's hard to disobey Allah Ta'ala living with you. That's because we're playing games with this deen. And we run around and saying that we